Hello, this video here is one that I promised I would be doing. I have every single surveillance camera footage that I could find of Shamaya, Monifa, Bree, I guess her name is Abriana, but Bree for short, and Kenneka and the guy with the red hat. You know, the people that were actually looking for her all over the place. Okay, I know a lot of you think that these people had something to do with it, and you're just wrong. Okay, and you should be ashamed of yourself for even thinking they had something to do with it. Okay, these people looked for over an hour all around the hotel. Okay, they probably didn't think anything happened to her as well. For at least the early part, you can tell that they got a little bit more frantic later looking for her, but it's just you people are a joke, okay? You've put these people's lives in danger because you're so myopic that you can't actually see what the hell's going on, okay? They have nothing to do with the case, all right? I mean, when I say case, I mean they didn't do anything to Kenneka. It's just, man, you get so frustrated just watching the crap that's put out on YouTube and social media and Facebook. I used the word "we" in a video the other day when I said, "Yeah, we found Tupiramax." Yeah, I was talking about the, our Facebook group. We, because I actually include people when I talk. I don't say I every single time I say something. Yeah, we found on the autopsy those drugs. Okay, so when I mentioned that, they said, "See, he said we, so he's got to be part of it. He probably works for him." Okay, well, you're wrong. All right, so I had to pay $67 for my hard drive, which any one of you can go order. You can go and contact the Rosemont. I'm not sure if it's police department. Then they'll give you a number, and then you can get a hold of the attorney through an email. Then they ask you where you live, and then they'll figure out the shipping charge, and they'll ship it to you. However, it's all free now online going through that same website. But a lot of you just don't care whenever I tell you that. You just keep saying, "Hey, how'd you get the information when nobody else has it?" It's embarrassing. Okay, so let me show you what I did here. I created a timeline. This is all the friends looking for, okay? Now notice there's gaps, there's times where they're not on surveillance camera. Maybe they went up on some of the floors again and looked around. There's no surveillance camera on those. All right, so, like here's a gap from 356. They started looking around 352 is the first time I could see them looking. I'm assuming they might have looked on some floors prior to that. Okay, so we have a gap here from 356 to 4 o'clock, so that was only 4 minutes. Then we have one from 403 to about 406, that's 3 minutes. Then we have one from 408 to 418, that's 10 minutes. And then right down here, you can see down here what I'm looking at. These are clusters of videos, okay? So 427.02 to 432-ish, 430. 432, little tiny gap there. Then 438 to 452, and then a little bit in there. So there's some gaps, but there's some really nice chunks. There's actually something like over 35 minutes where they're actually on surveillance, walking around looking, looking for Kenneka. All right. So what I did was I took even the footage that was prior to the party, where Kenneka and her friends showed up, and then Kenneka, when she was walking intoxicated, and I put it all into one solid block. So when you're watching, you'll notice that the time skips. Of course, there'll be people that don't watch the whole video. They'll just skip ahead, and they'll ask, "Oh, did you see where the time skipped right there?" Even though I just explained all the time skipping right here. Okay, I'll get 1,000 questions asking that because, embarrassingly, again, when people watch the video, they watch like 4 minutes and then they start commenting and then never go back and watch it again. And I don't really know why they do that. Maybe they, they don't like the video, or they know where it's heading, so they don't want to watch it. Because by God, you wouldn't want to convince them of something that is true instead of the wild nonsense that they're believing. Okay, so here's the tab where I put it all together. Now, see how that's just a nice block? See, if you look down, let's say you could look down this way, you'd see that it was no empty spaces. It's just one solid block of video going across. There's no gaps. At least I haven't seen any. If there's one that shows up, just ignore it. Okay, so what I found a couple clips of Kenneka and the friends showing up that I hadn't seen before, and I'm going to start playing the video right now. Alright, so 12:53, you can see up here. Here's the time. Let me see if I can move this down a little bit more. There you go. So you can see the 1:13. There's Kenneka. So it's Bree, Monifa right there, Shamaya, and Kenneka. All right. Now keep in mind, I think the surveillance footage is only 15 frames a second, so you get a little bit of it's kind of blurry. It's not really good movement. Now here's one I think is new that I found. I haven't seen anybody else show this one. So here they go walking. It's the same four walking, same order and everything. Looks like they go behind some sort of a glass thing there. And they walk around. Now they're just about to go down some stairs, and watch. Bam! Right over to the Fractal Truth video that he found. Okay, now this is a new one that I found too, where through a restaurant you saw them walk by right there. Okay, and now here they are walking down the hall. Now this time up here is so accurate on all the video that you're actually able to line them up like you do when you shoot a movie. You can shoot from 5 different cameras and have the same time code, and then you can choose whatever camera you want to get the best shot. Okay, that's what I'm doing here. So there's Kenneka right there. Now that actually leads right to the left, goes around to the lobby, and Kenneka went off to the right here. I don't know what's over there. I know there's some videos out there that might show that. I think there might be elevators or some sort of maybe there's another door over there to go out. I don't know, but she comes back, and I think you saw her just for a second walk by right there, but I didn't point up there. Maybe I can go back to that again. Let's see. So right now Bree is gonna walk by, and I think when it cuts to that other camera, there she was. You could just barely see her walk by right there. All right. Now it skips to 1:18, and I think Bree comes back in with what the heck's her name? Irene. Yeah, she's got her glasses on and everything. So there's Bree, Irene. And I'm not really sure what they're doing there, but probably asking like what floor, where's the party is, or whatever. I have no idea. But like I said, I'm just showing you all of the clips that anybody, the friends, like it seems like the closer friends show up in. Okay, now Bree's still over there, but she actually goes around and goes out this door over here. I wish these videos had some sort of audio on them, because instead you're going to have to listen to my voice the whole time. Maybe I'll throw in some Easter eggs for you and say "we" 100 times so you can say that I'm part of the Rosemont Police Department. All right, so if you notice, Irene comes back towards the camera and then doesn't show up on the. I think I might cut over to the other camera. I don't think so, but I switch over to. Okay, that was the last video that you could see of her, and then you see, this is at 3:25. Okay, now keep in mind there's the party videos in between, but that's not part of the surveillance footage. Okay, so you see Kenneka at the party with all the same friends. They seem to be having a good time. And now this is 3:25 in the morning. We've skipped ahead 2 hours. Okay, now here she is, as I've described many times, very intoxicated. Okay, and kind of now right there. Had she turned left right there, she would have been up in the lobby, and somebody probably would have seen her. You know, it's the path not taken. Like had she just taken that, you know, things might have been different. Let's see. All right, so it's still clicking around now. Here she's walking. This actually goes back in time a little bit. I should have done the direct edit where it goes right to this camera lining up the time code, but I didn't do that. Okay, so she's going down this hall here, and at the end she'll disappear because after the video recorded, and then it lost track of her motion, and it didn't detect her anymore because she's so small up at the top of the screen that it quit recording and she disappears. Okay, because it quit recording video when she was walking. So right. Well, actually, I went straight to the next shot, so you can't see her disappear, but she does. There's not some weird magic going on or anything. All right, so here she is walking by. This is the lower level West Hall, and this one heads straight towards double doors that she then goes through a second set of double doors into the next shot, which will be the kitchen. You can see this all on my longer walkthrough video. Okay, but this video again is just video that's in the surveillance footage. Alright, now here she comes into this kitchen after going through the double doors. You can tell she's still really intoxicated, doesn't really know where she's going, just kind of stumbling around. And then in a minute, a few seconds here, you'll see her on another fractal truth discovery. This one short clip of her walking through this one kitchen 2 camera. Right there. The police found that as well. And now we're back to this, and you'll just see her head come by just for a second here. Right there. And then she goes down this longer hall by those chairs that we talked about, then out the double doors and into the stairway area where she fell over those rails back there. Okay, now if you notice that video, she came from off the screen. A lot of times you see it where she just starts like in this area. Okay, but she's just trying to go into all the kinds of different doors. So when people say, God, you know, how did she end up going into that freezer? I mean, you know, look at her. She's just kind of going into all kinds of, trying to check different doors and so forth. And I've heard people, they're pretty hypocritical. They'll say stuff like, look how she doesn't fall down even once when she's walking. I mean, she couldn't have been that drunk, you know? But now they say, how did she go up those stairs? She was so drunk. You know, it's like, well, which one is this? Which one are you going to choose? Or are you just going to say whatever works for you at that moment? Okay, so she just went into the men's bathroom. Okay? Now, ironically, later on, Shemaya goes into the women's bathroom looking for Kenneka. That makes sense, doesn't it? See, they weren't intoxicated like she was, like Kenneka was. And they even went down this hall, but they didn't go back into the kitchen, which, you know, they're pretty close. When they're right in this area, they're not too far. All they had to do was go this direction through the double doors, go towards the end, then go up those stairs, and then through those wooden doors, and they would have been in the kitchen. But then they also then would have had to look in the freezer. But see, these girls didn't go where the sign said don't go, you know. The people looking for Kenneka, they didn't do it. All right, so right there she goes through the double doors, up some stairs, Now she takes a left and goes up some stairs, then through a wooden door, then into this kitchen. And, you know, she goes back. And then right at the very end, you can see, you know, right in this area, the shadow of the door, her there and the door open. Okay. So it's still going, and then right here, you see something a little different, little shading change there. Okay, now here we are at 3:52. This is the first footage I have of anybody. Now, if anybody can find some more, that'd be great, but I can't find it. So here's Monifa, and here's the guy at the counter. You see Monifa's feet right there walking by. Then this angle, she walked by, and now she's going to go down that hallway. Here comes Shemaya. And there, yeah, there's Shemaya just walked by there. Now, Monifa had already gone around that corner. Now here comes Shemaya. She'll come from behind her in a second. Right there. So at this point, they're just kind of wondering, like, God, where is she? Kind of, you know, they're probably at this point not really that worried because it's only, you know, 20 minutes later. Okay, now it skipped ahead a little bit for 20 seconds. The motion capture went off because people were kind of standing still and they're high up and there wasn't a lot of change going on. All right, so you can still see, Shemaya, Monifa right there. Okay, now they're heading back towards the lobby area. Okay, now if you look at the clock up there, I sync them up pretty well. So 3:56, 57, 8, 59. So it takes about 4 seconds to get to this area. Now walking by the front desk and just walk by that guy standing there. The worker, whatever you call that guy. And they just walk by the camera. So 3:55. Okay, now here, look at this. Right here, Shemaya looks down here just for a second. That's one I just found. You know, just a quick little glance. Didn't see anybody, and then, you know. So right now they're looking for her pretty actively. Now I thought they were asking the security, "Hey, can we get some help?" But it doesn't even appear like they engaged that guy. I think they're still just kind of thinking, well, we can find her on her own. And there's Bree, Shemaya, and Monifa right there, and some other friends. But I'm really just kind of focusing in on her friends and the guy with the red hat later on. Okay, so here they go again, back down this hallway. Yeah, so now we're after 4 o'clock now. And I don't know where that left they just took. I don't know where that goes. Okay, there's no cameras over there or anything, but they came back out. And, you know, they still don't look like they're panicking or anything. They're just sort of, you know, maybe checking with other people. Hey, have you seen her? Now, Shemaya goes to the front desk, talks to the guy. There she is. Now look at her. Ooh, wow, her jacket color changed. Well, you know what? These cameras have different white balance settings, so sometimes different images look different color. Okay, that's her. All right. You can see Monifa's feet and Bree and then Shemaya. They all walk. Now they're taking a right here, so I think they're going to be going back down. Let's see. Yeah, this direction right here. Down the food court hall. Okay, and I think Those are those stairs. Yep, the stairs. Go back up. All right, that's 402. And here they are at the top. So it's kind of like the reverse way they entered. So this is, they're actually going to leave the building here for a minute. Looks like that guy was helping search for a while, but not really. He was just kind of, walking with them, kind of. Wasn't really on his own looking around. Okay, now they went out that outside, it appears, and then Bree came back in. She's the one that seems the most concerned, actually. She kind of goes off on her own quite a few times, but Shemaya and Monifa both really, they look all over the place. So here they come back in. They probably went out to check the car to see maybe if she went out to where the car was. Maybe out in the parking lot somewhere. Yeah, sorry, I had to get something to drink. This is a long one. Alright. So it's pretty interesting that you can just sort of watch the whole sequence as it's happening. There they go again through that restaurant surveillance camera. They look kind of tired, but they actually look for another hour. Okay, that's pretty. They didn't give up looking until like after 5 o'clock. All right. So again, people who say, "Oh, they have something to do with it," so all this stuff was just for show. They're just walking around to be shown on surveillance. I don't think so. They even at one point stopped by in front of a restaurant and they're like, "Okay, your hair looks like this." You can see them doing that. There's times where you can see Monifa, her shoes are bothering her, and hence later on you see her take them off. So here's another shot. They're back in the lobby at 419. And now she's saying, "Have you seen any?" Who knows what she's asking, but they're definitely now getting the hotel involved in trying to find her. Okay, there's Bree. Looks like these are their boyfriends here, just by the way they're acting. But, at this point, this girl right here, she was exercising, man. She's in like a billion surveillance footage, drinking, just kind of walking, doing her exercise. Kind of a crazy time of night, but people do that. Depends on where you're from. Like if you're from the West Coast visiting, it's 7 in the morning. Or even, about 7. Yep, so I think they're still standing at the front desk asking questions. Some other guys asking questions. And now they're sitting in the lobby here, just kind of figuring out what to do. That security guard, he's just walking all over the place too. I'm going to do another video coming up that showed the crucial 10 minutes for Kenneka, and then anybody else that's even moving and what time and where they're at. Okay, so I think that'll be an interesting video for people to watch. Okay, so I know this is sort of boring, but this portion right here, but I'm going to play the whole thing. This is all the surveillance footage I found with these people in it. And I think it's important for people to watch because it shows that they really were looking and they're trying to figure things out. Now, in this situation, they're not. They're sitting, but it's not like they're leaving the hotel either. They know that Kenneka's missing, and they're trying to figure out what to do, because they've looked in a lot of places that, they would think of looking. So, Bree, Monifa, and I think those might be the boyfriends of Shemaya and Bree. I didn't pay close enough attention to them when they walked by the first time. Yeah, so right now we're 25 minutes into this video. Okay, now they're gonna start getting up and start looking around again. So I guess that whole time Shemaya was probably just off to the right there in the lobby. And here they go. They're gonna start looking again. So from that camera you can see them. They just took a right. And they're heading down that food court hallway again, I think. That's probably the worst video surveillance camera I've ever seen. That thing goes on and off. That red square just goes off by itself for hours and hours and hours because it's so, the pixels are so horrible that it looks like it's shifting, so the camera thinks there's motion. Such poor lighting. Okay, and here they are again outside that restaurant. This camera here, I haven't seen anybody release any footage of this out there. So for me, this is all new. So they walk by the restaurant, and just walking here again. There's Monifa looking down there to see maybe if she was down there. Nope. Okay, so here's one of those blank spots that I didn't fill in. I didn't make it tight. Okay, so right there they went down those stairs. So that they actually went down those stairs. So now they're down into that hallway where, down in that lower level stairs where Kenneka was. So right now, if Shemaya would walk straight towards the camera through those double doors, she'd be getting close. But I mean, the odds of finding her in the freezer are 1 in a million. I mean, like, why would you even? A normal sober person wouldn't go there. Okay, Kenneka was absolutely intoxicated and just kind of stumbling all over the place, and just kind of went wherever her mind was wanting to go. I don't think she even had a mission to go somewhere. It just seemed like she just was sort of on a walkabout, like going anywhere. Okay, so they went back up those stairs. The motion sensor didn't detect them again as they were going up those stairs because, like I explained in a previous video, they were too far away. Some of those cameras are sent for distance too. Okay. They did get the motion sensor did go off when they went down, but that was just, it's not something guaranteed on these cameras. They're not perfect. Everyone thinks, oh, well, they're perfect. So every time the red box is blinking, there's a person there. Well, no, not every single time. As a matter of fact, these red boxes are on the whole time. They're not even, like, look at this. Nobody's in this upper red box. They never even blink. They never go off. Every time this camera is even on, the red boxes are on. So this isn't perfect stuff, okay? So, they're still looking around. Right now it's 4:26. Okay, 4:26:02. They walk by that restaurant again. So I had to go through all these, all the footage, one by one, finding the specific time frame, basically between, I was looking from 3:30 to 5 on all the footage. And so this is what I've found. There might be some more out there, different angles, but I have I have these really solid blocks of like 7 or 8 minutes sometimes where they're on camera for the whole time. Okay, now it's 4:26, almost 4:27. All right, now they come back into the lobby again. Now, if you notice here, they go right here, and she says something, and they go out this door, but you can never actually see them from this surveillance camera. That's a crappy surveillance camera. It's supposed to be shooting the front door. It should be over to the left more and turn to the right, because anybody going out that side door isn't showing on that surveillance camera. Okay, now here's the guy in the red cap. You know, he's starting to look around now. It's 4:32. Okay, so remember, this is an hour after Kenneka's already gone into the freezer. Okay, so this guy has nothing to do with it. I know a lot of you clowns out there think, oh, wow, that guy has something to do with it. But watch. It's absolutely makes total sense here, because I've got more footage for you now. So he goes this way, down this hall, and then he goes down these stairs right there. He actually goes down and then down. Okay, he goes down the stairs. Okay, now the camera, I don't think, picks him going back up the stairs again. Like I said before, sometimes it doesn't pick him up. Now he's coming back. But if you looked at the time code, like, he was just gone for, mere minutes, And he didn't even go down the hall towards the kitchen where Kenneka was. Okay, so he comes back, and then he goes back down the ramp again. The other surveillance camera down there will pick him up in a second. And you can actually see him in the background right there, standing by the elevators. Okay, about to, go to the elevators there. 434, 437. See, first he went and looked over here somewhere, okay? And then he said, okay, now I've checked this floor. Now he's waiting for the elevator to go somewhere. He went over here like Shemaya and Monifa did earlier. Okay, so he goes up the elevator. And at this point, there's no footage that I could find during this time frame of these. See, they were actually outside, you see? And that's exactly why. See, they had left the building, all three of them. And now they're coming back in the building the same way that they started the night out. Okay, so they went outside and checked again, wondering if she just kind of stumbled outside. They missed Kenneka, I mean. And there's the guy with the red hat. He goes out the front door. Okay, and this is all real-time editing here. So here the three come. After walking, they come down those stairs again. Now here they actually stop by in front of that restaurant. You can see them. See, they're right there. They come up in front. See that? And look at. Yeah, I thought there was a time. There's a time, yeah, like Breeby goes, oh, her hair looks like this. But I didn't see it that time. That might be later. But anyways, they, we're up by that restaurant. And, they're walking. Looks like they're heading back towards the lobby again. And that's Bree just straggling a little bit behind there. Okay, and here's the lobby. Oh, and the guy with the red hat. So those girls didn't go into the lobby. They took a right. Where I was saying earlier, there's a blind spot over there to the right. That might even go to another set of elevators. I don't know. But there's the guy with the red hat. And looks like they did go through. Not sure. Meeting Hall East. Seems like they would have had to go back through the lobby to get there. Actually, I think this might be. Oh, that clip's way out of. This one's already happened. Hold on a second here. Let's get rid of that. I kind of screwed up on that segment there. That shouldn't be there. Because look at the time. That was the one that was from earlier. Not sure how that made it back in there. So let's see. 438. Let's get rid of a couple of these clips here. This one. And this one. And that one. Yeah, that was we already played that one. Okay. So this is one of those gaps right here. And move that over. Okay, so this is 438 and then 458. So 20 minutes later, there's more activity again. All right. So let's do this. Here's the guy with the red hat, comes back in. Okay, so 20 minutes later, looks like you see Shemaya right there. She sits back down, and I know they actually do end up going back downstairs looking some more. Sorry about those clips a few minutes ago. I don't know how they got in there out of order. I just poor editing actually. But I got it all put together now. Here goes Manifa and Shemaya. And I think they come back towards this direction. No, that's not it. They go back. Now they go down. And this puts them down by the ramp that goes to the elevator. You see? So this ramp right here goes down to the elevator, but they come in from this direction. Alright? Now, Manifa goes towards the elevator. She probably said, hey, you go that way, I'll go this way. Okay? And you just barely see top of Shemaya's head here. Then there's no footage of her coming back on this camera itself because she might have came too close to the camera. Barely. The only reason it was set off was because she was a little bit farther out. Now look, here's Manifa. She's actually checking a door, and then she kind of goes over to the right. There's a little area over there. So right now she's not in the view of the surveillance camera right there. Okay. And then Shemaya comes back. She just went to the end and looked through those doors. That's straight ahead. You can see that in my long walkthrough video, the route that Kenneka took. So she didn't go down the long hall the guy in the red hat did, or Kenneka went. Alright, so right now they're not near the elevators. They're still just kind of went off to the left. Now they're going to come back up the ramp, which isn't on the surveillance camera. Now this is where people say, oh, look, they're carrying Kenneka. What a joke, okay? You see all they're looking around this whole time. There's no Kenneka, all right? Nobody's carrying Kenneka right there. Nobody's killing Kenneka right there. Okay, so they go back up these. Now they should be in the lobby. Yep. Okay, yeah, it looks like they're heading back down this direction. Man, you can see it. She took her shoes off. There was footage, I think I saw it in there earlier, where she's kind of rubbing her feet. Her feet bother her a lot. Like she was lifting up her shoes. And, you know, they probably weren't meant for walking. They're kind of like party shoes, you know. I don't know. It's hard to say. Maybe they just don't fit very good. But that doesn't really even matter, right, people? I mean, she just took her shoes off because they weren't comfortable. There's nothing nefarious about it. All right. So now it looks like they're heading back out the front door towards that area anyways. So I can't remember if they come back this direction or not. I think this is just footage that I put in there to fill in the time, because look at now so maybe they were texting or something up there. Now they're in this area, 5:03, but there was no drop in time there. Yeah, so it looks like Munifa's on her phone and Shemaya right there. So maybe Bree said something. Now they're going back that direction. They didn't go outside. But I think, yeah, I think that's Bree right there. Yeah, so Bree's coming towards them now. They're going to sort of meet up here in a second. Okay, so she'll be taking a left here to go up those stairs. Yep. And I think the other two are waiting for her at the top. Okay, you see how that red box just kept going and going because it's so pixelated? Alright, so they all three got back together up there. And now they're just leaving the building. Okay, now right now I think they're feeling really nervous and frantic. In fact, this is new footage that I found. I hadn't seen anybody put it out there yet. But it's of the parking lot. And you can actually see them running to the car. You know, they're not walking. You'll see them in a second. And they're just flat out running. You know, all three of them running to the car. Okay, now this car drives by, and I kept it on there because I think it might be theirs, just given the time and there's no other people moving around. So I think this might be them driving out after they got to the car. So there's a car that's going to come by here in a second, and I think that's theirs. Yeah. So I don't know for sure, but I'm just kind of guessing that's them. Okay, so that's it. All right, that's the whole enchilada of surveillance footage. Okay. Now I hope that shows you people out there that are so angry with the three girls, if they had something to do with it, that you realize that you're just wrong. Okay, they were looking around for her. They were concerned for her, and you should be ashamed of yourselves for putting, you've actually put their lives in jeopardy. Okay, they get death threats and stuff, and it's insane. Okay, all right. So I hope you appreciate this. Took me forever to do it. Took me, I don't know, over 30 hours to get through all of it. And if I missed any footage, let me know. Maybe I'll put it back into my timeline. I probably won't make another video like this, but there you go. That's all I got for you. So for all of you out there, try to be rational thinkers. Okay, don't keep watching these videos that are showing black and white, grainy cell phone footage with the camera moving around and believing it because you want to believe it. Believe it because it's true, not because you want to believe it. All right, so have a good evening, and I will talk to you next time.